Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mind Your Money. My name is Tasha. If you're here for the first time, my husband and I are documenting our journey to debt freedom, financial independence while we build generational wealth. And of course, we have to talk about budgeting, managing money, saving, and getting out of debt. If you don't know, if you haven't been here before, we have an annual budget. So this video is simply showing you guys how we are updating it. Basically, I'm doing some spring cleaning on our worksheets, and the expense portion of the annual budget is what I'm working on right now. I did have to remove and rename some categories, and I also wanted to make sure to double check that we are using the increase of income that we are now getting. However, I want you guys to know that there are some things that we don't share. That means there are some parts of our income that are private. So we're not using our full income. We're only using the least amount we can expect that will allow us to reach our financial goals. That is paying off our debt, that is investing, and which will come more at a later date. But right now what I'm doing is I'm changing some of the categories, and I'm making notes for myself so that I know what savings challenges will include. So the zero out challenge and any monthly challenge that I'm doing, I think we are going to do a different challenge every month just to keep things interesting and to stretch ourselves while we are working towards getting out of debt. Now, I wanted to add two new sinking funds, which is going to be Amazon Prime and also the Costco membership, because we have not yet saved up for those. I am going to be putting money aside into or towards our Costco membership from what we've saved in the zero out challenge, but I definitely want to make sure, because it's a yearly membership, that we separate that into a sinking fund. Now, I don't know yet when this video will come out. I did ask in one of my recent videos for you guys to let me know if you wanted to see how we set up the Capital One 360 savings accounts, because I know a lot of people have asked about it, and they want to know if it's easy to use and all of that, and it really is. So if you want a step-by-step walkthrough of that, let me know. But in the meantime, I'm just going to add the two new sinking funds to the sinking funds list here on the annual budget. And I'm also going to make sure that we correct some things with the income, as I mentioned a moment ago. We really need to make sure that we're using the least amount and that the numbers add up. Now, we do expect to be debt free before the summer, or at least by the very beginning of the summer. So if that doesn't happen, we are still going to plan for the whole entire year, because things do happen, things comes up. Murphy is always looking for something, but we are planning, we're preparing ourselves. We have not allocated any money to go to Amazon Prime right now or to Costco, because again, the zero out challenge money that we've saved is going to pay for our Costco membership in October, and then after that we'll establish a number. But for now, the sinking funds allocated amounts are going to stay where they are, if that makes sense. So I'm just doing some cosmetic updates here, and you're also going to see where we shift and change some of the envelopes that we use. So now if you look here on the right side of the screen, we have cashless envelopes, and then we also have physical envelopes. That means we are going to be putting physical cash into some of those, like laundry. You'll see me probably stuff cash for our boys. We have 3 boys, so the youngest ones, we will stuff cash for them. I will be stuffing cash for myself for my spending money, which is mostly just going to be for giving tips and stuff like that. Now that things are getting better and vaccinations are out there, I more than likely will be out doing my regular lady things. So getting my nails done, eyebrows threaded, that sort of thing. And I want to make sure I have tip money. So my spending money will be physical cash for some of the time. So that's why we have a section for physical envelopes. So on the far right, we have our bills and expenses breakdown. So I like to see the graph also. It just lets me see how our categories are broken down by percentages. So I'm just moving that over also, and I want to make sure to get rid of any weird lines like as you see here. So I don't want grid lines. I like the blank background. The good thing about Excel and Google Sheets is that you can customize it to however you want it. So the annual budget is set up so that you can change the colors, you can change the fonts, and of course you can change your categories like I did here. I'm going back and making sure that all of the fonts matched. I want them to be coordinated as much as possible. And you'll also see me open up the calculator in a little bit so that I can make sure our numbers match up. And I'll flip back and forth between the expenses tab for 2021 and also the income tab, just to make sure the numbers, we have a zero-based budget for each month, going all the way through December. So pre-planning this way just helps us, it makes the monthly budgets much easier. And then you get that overview of the entire year to see how much money did I actually make and where did my money go. So for those people who like to use digital apparatuses like this, I know some people use YNAB, but Excel and Google Sheets is really easy for me. So that's what we're using right now. I mean, that could change in the future, but for now, this is what we like to use and what we're comfortable with. So if anyone who has purchased the annual budget, thank you so much for your patronage. I appreciate all of you. Just know that it is customizable. You can change the numbers. Remember, anything that's grayed or has a different color at the bottom, such as total and remaining, will calculate for you. So you can see from June through December, I still have money that we can budget for. So in a moment, I'm going to switch back to the expenses tab so I can go ahead and change or increase what we're allocating to some of the categories. Most importantly, investments and also paying off the rest of the student. So what I've been doing here is I'm adding amounts that are left over to our spending, because we are going to be allocating cash money for our spending for the rest of the year. And also I'm making sure to include $100 per month for our savings challenges. And because I'm switching back and forth to make sure we do have a zero-based budget. You'll also see me add additional funds to our student loans, and I did not increase the sinking funds, or didn't increase all of them, because I know that some months we will be doing savings challenges and we want to be debt free. So we might have to be a little flexible for right now. Some of our sinking funds are not priority, or they won't be after the second week of May. So that's different. We did not include 1 month ahead on the annual spreadsheet because that was actually our attempt to make sure we are 1 month ahead in our expenses. So it won't be included here. We'll basically just transfer a portion of our paychecks that we get every week into the 1 month ahead account so that we could pay the next month's bills. So we won't be tracking it on here. Let me know if you think it's a good idea to do that. I know that I've watched a few budgeters here who like to use YNAB and even Excel just to track their spending and track, different things concerning their finances. Would you think including the 1 month ahead account on this expense tracker would be worth it or beneficial? It doesn't really matter. Personal finance is personal, but I'm just curious. All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm adding up all of the payments that we're allocating or estimating to pay towards the student debt to see if we're going to be over, because I believe we will be able to pay the student loans off before the end of the year. So that total $7,418. So I'm going to remove the additional monies that I allocated for December, and I'm going to reallocate that to our investments and also to our savings, I believe. So that is pretty much all I'm doing for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to mind your money, manage it well, and live your lives to its fullest. Bye for now.